Hello, Dynasty women. Fall in love with a Sigma female and you're not entering a relationship. You're stepping into a psychological labyrinth with no map, no guide, and no guarantee you'll come out the same. Sounds dramatic? Good. Because it is. Here's a fact. Studies show that people are most attracted to those who don't need them. That's the Sigma female in a nutshell. She doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and definitely doesn't revolve her identity around romantic connection. In fact, she might forget she's in a relationship if it starts feeling too generic. This woman is not your average lover. She's not writing poetry in her diary about your text message delay. She's probably redesigning her entire life blueprint while sipping tea and wondering if you're intellectually competent enough to even keep up. Yes, that's her idea of foreplay. You want to understand how a Sigma female acts in a romantic relationship? Buckle up. Because it's not about candlelit dinners or love songs. It's about psychological depth, emotional sovereignty, and a refusal to play by anyone's script. Let's pull back the curtain and see how the most enigmatic woman in the personality spectrum behaves when she actually lets someone in. And number one, she'll make you earn every layer of her soul. She doesn't open up easily, and even when she does, it's never all at once. Loving a Sigma female means stepping into a slow unraveling. You don't get full access to her world just because you're in a relationship with her. That's not how she operates. She's layered, and those layers aren't unlocked by grand gestures or sweet words. They're earned through consistency, intellect, emotional presence, and an ability to respect her space without retreating from her depth. She's watching, not in a paranoid way, but in a deeply observant, almost surgical way. She's noting how you react to her quiet, how you respond to her independence, how you treat her boundaries when she needs space. She's paying attention to whether you truly see her or just the version of her that fits your fantasy. She can spot manipulation dressed as charm, and she has zero tolerance for it. She might share parts of herself in pieces, casually dropping something profound mid-conversation, and then changing the subject. That's not her being cryptic. It's her way of seeing if you're really listening or just hearing noise. If you catch those moments and meet her at that depth without trying to rush or decode her like a puzzle, she'll notice. That's the kind of presence that moves her. What she's looking for isn't perfection, it's alignment. A sense that you can be trusted not just with her body or her affection, but with her truth. And trust, for her, is not a romantic concept. It's a slow, earned understanding that you won't misuse what she reveals, that you won't exploit her softness when it finally shows. She's not guarded because she's broken. She's guarded because she knows her worth down to the bone. And if you want access to her soul, you'd better come with clean hands and the patience to stay, because she'll never give herself to someone who shows up with hurry in their heart. Number two, she hates romantic scripts and predefined roles. She doesn't care if you brought roses. What she really wants to know is, did you bring your real self? A Sigma female has no patience for romantic scripts or cookie-cutter gestures. In fact, she finds them mildly irritating. Say the same sweet nothings you said to the last three women, and watch her emotionally check out mid-sentence. She's not a cliché, so don't treat her like one. You can't seduce her with candlelit dinners if your conversation is hollow. Don't tell her you love her if you can't back it up with self-awareness, clarity, and action. She doesn't want the guy who plays the role of boyfriend. She wants the man who dares to be fully human, messy, flawed, evolving, and isn't afraid to be seen that way. She sees through performative romance instantly. That just because gift? Cute. But she's clocking whether you even noticed the book she couldn't stop talking about last week, that fancy restaurant? Fun, but she'd rather have a mind-bending conversation on a rooftop or hear you unpack the darkest part of your past without flinching. That's real to her. That's intimacy. And don't assume she wants to be the soft, passive one in the dynamic. She doesn't fit into the feminine nurturer or cool girlfriend mold. One day she's assertive and blunt, the next she's quiet and withdrawn, and both are real. She plays every role she wants on her terms and rewrites the rules as she goes. To love her is to step off the stage, drop the lines, and show up unscripted. Because while she doesn't need fireworks, she needs real, and real doesn't come wrapped in a bow, it comes raw, flawed, and unfiltered, just like she does. Number three, She isn't loyal to you, she's loyal to the bond. Loyalty to a Sigma female isn't tied to your name, your role, or how long you've been in her life. It's tied to the bond, the living, breathing energy between you. If that bond starts to weaken, if it stops feeding her soul, her mind, or her purpose, she won't cling to it out of obligation. She'll let it go with quiet clarity. No breakdown, no drama. Just a clean emotional cut. Don't confuse her loyalty with blind devotion. She's not in love with the idea of being committed. She's in love with real mutual depth. If you keep showing up as someone who engages her on that level, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, she'll ride through fire with you. But if you start drifting, dulling, or coasting on autopilot, she notices. And once the integrity of the connection fades, so does her investment. She's not loyal out of fear of being alone. That's the last thing she's afraid of. She's loyal because something between you means something. But the moment it stops meaning anything, when the honesty dies, when the growth stalls, when the respect thins, she disconnects. And she doesn't make a show of it. She doesn't need to scream or slam doors. She just stops giving you the parts of her that mattered. And here's the thing that catches most people off guard. You could still be together technically, and she'll already be gone emotionally. Because her loyalty isn't to keeping the relationship alive, it's to keeping it real. She'd rather walk away from something that once mattered than stay and fake connection. This is why people often call her cold when she leaves. But she's not cold, she's just precise. She knows the difference between staying out of love and staying out of fear, and she'd rather be labeled heartless than betray herself by pretending a dead bond still deserves her loyalty. Number 4. She's capable of loving deeply while remaining unreachable. A Sigma female can love you with intensity, loyalty, and depth that feels almost cosmic. But there will always be a part of her you can't reach. Not because she's playing games or holding back. Not because she doesn't trust you, but because that inner sanctuary is hers and hers alone. It's the untouched center of who she is. The place where her identity lives untouched by romantic attachment. You might know her dreams, her fears, her habits, her history. She might tell you stories no one else has heard. She might share silences with you that feel like poems. But even then, there's a door inside her that doesn't open. Not out of secrecy, but out of necessity. That door protects her most unshakable self, the version of her that existed before love, before heartbreak, before anyone tried to name her. This can be hard to accept if you're the kind of person who equates intimacy with full access. If you're looking for a love that consumes, that fuses identities, she's not your match. She's not interested in merging. She wants love that coexists with her autonomy, not love that swallows it. You could be everything to her, lover, best friend, partner in growth, and still she'll pull away sometimes, not to detach, but to return to herself. That distance is not rejection, it's recalibration. It's her making sure she's still centered in her own gravity, not lost in someone else's orbit. The irony, that very unreachable part of her is also what keeps the relationship from becoming dull or codependent. It keeps the intrigue alive. It reminds you that no matter how close you are, she's never yours, she's hers. And somehow, knowing you'll never fully possess her makes the love feel even more real. Because if she chooses to love you while staying completely herself, you're not just lucky. You're witnessing a kind of love that most people will never even understand. Number 5. She questions love as it's happening. She doesn't fall in love like most people do. She doesn't lose herself in it, doesn't get drunk on it, doesn't surrender blindly to the rush. A Sigma female experiences love like a paradox. She feels it fully and observes it from a distance. Even as her heart opens, her mind is watching, analyzing, asking sharp questions beneath the softness. Is this real? Is this sustainable? Is this love or illusion? She's emotionally present, but never emotionally reckless. There's a constant duality in her, one part deeply moved, the other calmly studying the entire experience. It's not coldness, it's intelligence. It's the way she protects herself without building walls. While others get swept up in the fantasy, she's dissecting the structure beneath it. She wants to know what this thing is made of, not just how it makes her feel. She doesn't trust butterflies, They're lovely, sure, but she knows they're often the side effect of unmet needs or idealization. So when the butterflies show up, she doesn't immediately celebrate, she interrogates them. She'll question the chemistry, the timing, the motives. Not because she's trying to kill the magic, but because she refuses to be fooled by it. You won't catch her losing herself in daydreams or drawing wedding plans in the clouds after a good date. She's too grounded for that. She might crave deep connection, but she'll never sacrifice her clarity to get it. Love has to make sense to her while it's making her feel something. If it doesn't, she'll slow it down, pull back, or stop altogether, no matter how strong the feelings are. This can be frustrating if you're used to people who fall fast and fuse quickly. But the beauty of a Sigma female's love is that when she finally commits, she's done the work. It's not impulsive. It's not desperate. It's chosen, carefully, deliberately. And once she chooses you, you'll know you're not just loved, you're understood. And that kind of love, it's rare. Number 6, she respects her loneliness too much to fear being alone again. Loneliness isn't a threat to her, it's a sanctuary. A Sigma female doesn't fear being alone because she's already made peace with it. More than that, she's mastered it. Her solitude is where she thinks the clearest, feels the most whole, and reclaims every part of herself that the world tries to dilute. She doesn't sit in silence and feel empty. She sits in silence and feels powerful. You can't use the fear of being alone to control her, guilt her, or make her stay where she doesn't want to be. She's immune to that tactic. She won't flinch at the idea of being on her own again because she never really lost herself to begin with. Even in a relationship, she carries that inner solitude like armor. It's not something she wants to escape. It's something she returns to by choice. She doesn't see solitude as lack. She sees it as clarity. It's where she filters the noise, rebuilds her boundaries, and checks in with her own truth. And because she respects her loneliness, she doesn't make reckless decisions just to fill a void. She doesn't chase half-love or cling to broken bonds out of desperation. She would rather sit in silence with herself than be surrounded by noise that means nothing. This makes her hard to manipulate, especially by those who mistake vulnerability for weakness. She can be deeply loving, yes, but she'll never confuse connection with survival. You are not her lifeline, you're her choice. A meaningful one, hopefully, but not a necessary one. And if you threaten to leave, expecting her to beg or break, you'll be met with a quiet stillness that'll shake you. Not because she doesn't care, but because she knows her world doesn't collapse without you in it. She's not cold, she's just rooted in something unshakable. When a woman like that loves you, she's not doing it because she needs to. She's doing it because, in all her self-sufficient strength, she wants to. That's not just rare, that's untouchable. Number 7, she walks away when she's still in love, if she has to. When a Sigma female walks away, she does it with a kind of quiet finality that leaves no room for debate. It's not because she's fallen out of love with you, quite the opposite. She might still love you deeply, but that's exactly why she's leaving. She's capable of loving you, even fiercely, while knowing that staying would slowly erode the very essence of who she is. For her, love doesn't come at the cost of self-dissolution. She understands that love should add to her life, not subtract from it. If the relationship begins to ask her to compromise too much, if it demands she silence parts of her soul, abandon her path, or dull her spark to make space for someone else's needs, she will not hesitate to walk away. She'd rather love you from a distance than lose herself in the process. And this is where most people misunderstand her. It's easy to assume that leaving means she's given up on the relationship or no longer cares. But in reality, when she chooses to leave, it's often her final act of love and respect, for both herself and for you. She won't allow herself to become bitter, resentful, or lost in a dynamic that no longer aligns with her purpose or values. She won't linger in a situation where she's being asked to diminish her true self just to keep the relationship afloat. If she feels like she's becoming someone she's not, if she's losing her autonomy, her voice, or her sense of direction, she'll walk away, even if her heart aches with the decision. It's a painful but necessary choice. She knows that the person she is when she's fully herself is the person you fell in love with in the first place. If she stays and morphs into someone else, that love becomes a shadow of what it once was. and she won't settle for that. In the end, walking away isn't a sign of weakness. It's an act of profound strength and clarity. It's her choosing herself over the status quo, her loyalty to her own identity and purpose taking precedence over any relationship, no matter how deep the love runs. And when she does this, you can't help but respect her, even if it stings, because in her decision to walk away, she's showing you the deepest kind of love there is, the love of self. Number 8. She can be emotionally brutal without guilt. When a Sigma female speaks, she speaks with unfiltered truth, and she doesn't apologize for it. There's no room for fluff, no space for sugarcoating. If you're being irrational, selfish, or downright absurd, she'll call it out in the most direct way possible. She's not trying to hurt you, but she won't hesitate to point out when you're operating in denial or self-deception. Her honesty doesn't come with a cushion of kindness, and it certainly doesn't come wrapped in comfort. If you ask for her opinion, you better be ready to hear exactly what she thinks, because she's going to give it to you straight. She doesn't care if it stings. If you're wrong, you'll know. If you're overreacting, she'll tell you. And if you've crossed a boundary, you'll hear about it, no matter how awkward the conversation might be. You might feel the bite of her words, but what's worse is when you realize she's right. It's the kind of honesty that doesn't leave room for excuses or rationalizations. When she says something, it's clear, precise, and sometimes brutally accurate. It cuts through the mess and gets straight to the heart of the issue. And she won't feel guilty for it. She knows that real growth comes from truth, not from comforting lies. She understands that sometimes the sharpest words are the ones that help you see things clearly. If she's telling you something that's hard to hear, it's because she respects you enough to not let you stay in the dark. She knows you can handle it, whether you like it or not. To her, dishonesty is the true betrayal. She may love you with a depth that few others can comprehend, but if you're living in a bubble of denial, she's going to burst it. And she won't apologize for doing so. The love she gives is built on integrity, and that means no room for fake niceties or false comforts. It's raw, it's real, and it's relentless. But at the end of the day, she's not there to protect your ego. She's there to help you become better, even if it hurts in the process. Number 9. She fears losing herself more than losing you. For a Sigma female, the idea of losing herself is far scarier than the possibility of losing you. Heartbreak is painful, sure, but it's the price of loving, and she knows how to heal. What truly terrifies her is the thought of becoming someone she's not, of having her identity chipped away piece by piece, worn down by compromise and dependency. When she enters a relationship, she does so knowing that she's bringing her entire self to the table, not a fraction of it. Her independence, her mind, her ambitions, they all remain intact. But the moment she feels that the relationship is asking her to give too much of herself away, whether it's her voice, her purpose, or her integrity, she'll pull back. She won't beg for clarity, and she won't wait for a better time. If the relationship starts requiring her to dilute who she is to make room for you, she'll start retreating. Slowly at first, then completely, with no warning or explanation. This isn't about love being too hard, or her not caring about the connection. It's about her refusal to sacrifice the core of who she is just to keep things together. For her, self-erasure is a far greater loss than any romantic dissolution. She knows that love isn't worth it if it's slowly suffocating her spirit, her goals, or her authenticity. And here's the thing. You may not even see it coming. She won't make a scene. She won't yell or cry. She'll simply start to fade. The quiet withdrawal will be the loudest signal she can send. She doesn't need to explain herself, because she knows that the moment she starts losing herself, the relationship has already lost its meaning. For her, being in love doesn't mean losing her identity in the process. If staying in the relationship requires her to forget who she is, then walking away, no matter how much it hurts, becomes the only real option. It's not about losing you. It's about maintaining the integrity of her, and without that, she knows there's nothing left to give. Number 10. She loves from the mind before the heart. For a Sigma female, attraction isn't about your looks or charm first. It's about your mind. If you can't engage her intellect, your physical presence won't even register on her radar. She's wired to connect with people who challenge her thoughts, provoke new ideas, and keep her curious. It's her mind that hooks her in first. Her heart won't follow until she knows you can keep up with her intellectually. It's not that she's cold or unfeeling, far from it. She feels deeply, but those feelings are built on a foundation of mental connection. If your conversations revolve around surface-level topics or predictable cliches, she'll mentally check out. She's looking for someone who can dive into deeper discussions, someone who knows when to be profound and when to be playful, who can challenge her views and make her think in new ways. The right mental stimulation creates the emotional bond for her, not the other way around. Her attraction to you is tied to how you expand her world. Do you make her laugh with unexpected wit? Do you spark new perspectives on topics that matter to her? Can you engage her in a conversation that flows, one where you're both learning from each other? If you can't, you're just background noise. She needs a connection that goes beyond physical chemistry, and if she doesn't feel that intellectual spark, she'll quickly move on, no matter how good-looking you are or how charming your smile might be. If you want to win her over, you've got to capture her mind first. Physical attraction may follow, but it's never the starting point. For her, love isn't a feeling that hits her out of nowhere. It's a mental connection that gradually grows into something far more profound. And once she's intellectually invested, her heart follows. Number 11. She rebuilds herself constantly, with or without you. A Sigma female's growth is relentless. She doesn't wait for the right conditions to evolve, and she certainly doesn't press pause just because she's in a relationship. She's always in motion, always working on herself, refining her goals, expanding her mind, and sharpening her purpose. A relationship, while meaningful, is just another part of her journey, not the destination. So if you think you can slow her down, or that she'll pause her evolution for you, you're mistaken. She's not waiting for anyone to catch up with her. If you're not evolving alongside her, she will notice, and she won't wait for you to catch up. The gap between her growth and your stagnation will only widen, and as that happens, she'll begin to realize that staying in the same space you've both occupied isn't sustainable. She has too much vision for her future, too many plans for who she is becoming, to allow herself to stay tethered to someone stuck in the past. And here's the thing. She doesn't need you to evolve with her to continue growing. She loves deeply, but she knows that no one else can walk her path for her. If you choose to stay, great. But if you're not changing with her, don't expect her to sit still. The moment you stop growing, you become irrelevant. And she doesn't say that out of cruelty. She says it because she's committed to one thing above all else, her own evolution. If you're lucky, she'll take you along for the ride. She'll want to share her growth with you, challenge you to keep up, and create something deeper together. But if you can't match her pace, if you're stuck in a cycle of complacency, she'll pull away. She's not doing it out of spite. She's doing it because her soul has no time to waste. And if you're not willing to evolve with her, she'll move on without you, silently and steadily, as if you were never there at all. Number 12. She protects her inner world like a fortress. A Sigma female may let you in, but she will never hand over the keys to her entire soul, not even in love. There's a part of her that remains untouched, unexposed, and completely hers, no matter how deep the connection gets. This isn't emotional unavailability. It's self-respect. It's the sacred space she's built inside herself where her truth lives undisturbed, where she doesn't need to perform, justify, or explain. She's learned, through experience, through pain, through observation, that not everyone deserves access to her entire inner world. Some people just want entry so they can rearrange the furniture, try to fix things that don't need fixing, or worse, use that intimacy as leverage. So she's built a fortress, not with coldness, but with precision. And even if she's in love with you, she'll guard that core space with the same ferocity she guards her freedom. She'll open up, yes. She'll be vulnerable. She'll share thoughts and emotions that run deep. But just when you think you've seen all of her, she'll pull back slightly, not to confuse you, but to remind you that you are witnessing what she chooses to reveal, not the whole map. That last room, that hidden door in the back of her psyche. You don't get to walk in just because she loves you. You get to earn it. And even then, she might never unlock it fully. That's not distrust. That's her way of maintaining sovereignty over herself. If you're the kind of person who equates love with possession or demands full emotional disclosure at all times, she will frustrate you. Not because she's playing games, but because she won't be owned, not emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. Love to her isn't about total surrender. It's about connection that respects boundaries. It's about trust without invasion. And if you can't handle that, if you expect unrestricted access just because you're in love, you'll find yourself on the outside of a fortress you never truly understood. In the end, the Sigma female is a force of nature, constantly shifting, evolving, and redefining the boundaries of what it means to be herself. She doesn't fit into anyone's expectations, and she doesn't follow the rules that society hands her. Her loyalty is earned through the depth of connection, not titles. Her love is a gift, not a requirement. Her solitude is a sanctuary, not a prison. If you're lucky enough to be a part of her world, it will challenge you, grow you, and leave you better than when you met her. But understand this, she's never waiting for anyone to catch up with her. Her evolution doesn't pause for love, doesn't slow down for attachment, and doesn't compromise for convenience. If you want to walk with her, you'd better be ready to match her pace. Because if you're not, she'll keep moving forward, and she won't hesitate to leave anyone behind who can't keep up. Loving a Sigma female isn't for the faint of heart. It's not about controlling her or fitting her into your version of what a relationship should be. It's about respecting her independence, matching her intellectual depth, and being strong enough to stand beside her as she walks her own path. And if you do, you'll find that she's not only one of the most extraordinary people you'll ever meet, but that the bond she offers, when it's real, is unmatched. So to love a Sigma female is to know that you are never the center of her universe. But if you're lucky, you might just get a seat next to her as she conquers the world. And in that rare space, where mutual respect and growth intertwine, you'll find something far more valuable than fleeting affection. You'll find something that endures, that challenges, and that transforms both of you every step of the way. If you've made it this far, you already know that the Sigma female is one of a kind, and we've only scratched the surface of what makes her so extraordinary. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below to share your thoughts. Do you agree or disagree with what we discussed? I'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to like this video if it resonated with you, and share it with anyone who needs to understand the power and complexity of the Sigma female. Keep the conversation going, and let's keep exploring what makes us all unique. Thanks for watching.